Hey, what's up, everyone? My topic for today's presentation is on the death and life of great American cities by a book by Jane Jacob, which we're reading for our class. And I'm gonna focus on the importance of Washington Park for Greenwich Village. First, start off. Who was Jane Jacob? Jane Jacob, born May 4th, 1916, and died April 25th, 2006, is still remembered as one of the most important pioneers of her new urbanist movement. What I mean by the new urbanist movement is the movement today, which um, which focuses on creating environmental friendly habitats in neighborhoods. And one of the websites that I was reading on when looking more about Jane Jacob, I found an interview that a reporter did with her, and the reporter asked her that, oh, what would you want to be remembered as in the future? She said that I would want to be remembered as a really important thinker of our century. The most important thing I've contributed is my discussion of what makes economic expansion happen. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Jane Jacobs' ideas about neighborhood parks, their importance, and how the idea of Jacob can still be seen in one of the most prominent spots in New York, which is Washington Square Park. All right, so intricacy. So Jacob in her book talks about three big ideas of how neighborhood parks should look like. The three themes that come across the book are intricacy, sun, and the idea of a great center of a park. So first, to talk about intricacy, as Jane said in her book, that a neighborhood park is a place people come to, sometimes to fall in love, sometimes to keep an appointment, sometimes to savor the hustle of the city from a retreat, sometimes in the hope of finding acquaintances, sometimes to get closer to the nature, sometimes to keep a child occupied, sometimes simply to see what offers, and always to be entertained by the sight of people. But what she means by this is that people come to the park for various reasons, and when we went to Washington Square Park, we saw that like on a weekday, on a weekend, people always come there, and for various reasons. The second part she talks about is the sun. She talks about the sun, saying that the sun is a part of a park's setting for people, shaded to be sure in summer. What she means by that is that people will be attracted to a place that has the most sunlight, and like the center of the park and like the parts surrounding it are the parts that had the most sunlight and had the most people when we went there. So as you guys can see in this Google Map image, that there's buildings enclosing the park, but they're still not as big that they they can block sunlight from coming in the park. So sunlight is really important for a park to function properly. Centering. The idea of centering is that a park should have a center that people are like attracted to when they go in, and by no doubt that the Greenwich Village's Washington Square Park has a really beautiful prominent center, which is the fountain in the middle. And one of the last things I want to talk about is Jane Jacob versus Robert Moses, an idea that came up during our trip, and how Robert Moses was a really fundamental person in urban planning, and how he wanted to destroy Washington Square Park by building a highway through it and demolish a lot of buildings around it. But Jane Jacob and her protesters fought against it, and ultimately they won because we still have this beautiful place to go to. I just want to conclude by saying how Jacob's ideas like 40, 50 years back ago are still seen completely functional today in neighborhood parks, and that parks are going to be more and more successful if they keep getting the support and liveliness from the neighborhoods around them. Thank you.